Why does it sometimes feel like a relationship is falling apart, even when nothing dramatic has happened? Relationships can slowly change in ways that are easy to overlook at first, but there are often clear signs that things aren't quite right anymore. In this video, we're going to explore 7 Stoic signs that your relationship might be nearing its end. From constant conflict to emotional disconnection, these signs can help you understand what's going on and whether it's time to make some tough decisions. So, if you're wondering whether your relationship is still on solid ground, keep watching to see if any of these signs sound familiar. 1. Constant conflict. We all have disagreements from time to time. But when arguing becomes part of your daily routine, something's not right. Constant conflict is one of those signs that the relationship might not be in a healthy place anymore. It's exhausting to always feel like you're on edge, waiting for the next argument to happen. Over time, this can wear down the trust and respect that should be at the core of any relationship. When there's no resolution to these conflicts, it often feels like you're just going in circles, bringing up the same issues without making any real progress. This kind of ongoing tension makes it hard to keep a positive connection with your partner. Instead of growing closer, you start drifting apart. And even the small things can start to feel like major battles. If arguments are taking over and there's no sign of change, it might be a clear sign that the relationship is no longer serving both of you in a healthy way. It's tough, but it's important to recognize when constant conflict is doing more harm than good. 2. Emotional disconnection. Sometimes you might wake up and realize that the emotional connection with your partner just isn't there like it used to be. It's as if you're living side by side, but not really sharing your thoughts or feelings. When that emotional distance starts to creep in, it can be a sign that the relationship is losing its spark. Emotional disconnection can lead to a lack of intimacy, both physical and emotional. Without that closeness and understanding, it becomes harder to relate to each other, and misunderstandings can happen more often. You might start feeling like your partner doesn't get you anymore, and the things you used to enjoy together don't bring the same joy. When the emotional bond weakens, the foundation of the relationship starts to crumble. It's tough to maintain a healthy, strong connection when you don't feel truly connected on a deeper level. This emotional distance can slowly push you further apart, making it harder to communicate and rebuild the relationship. It's important to recognize this sign before it becomes too difficult to bridge the gap. 3. Lack of communication. You know how easy it is to talk to someone when things are going well. But when communication starts to fade, it can be a big sign that something's off in the relationship. Talking about your feelings, your dreams, and even your daily struggles is what keeps a relationship strong. If those conversations stop happening, it might be a sign that the relationship is no longer a priority for either of you. Without regular communication, it becomes harder to understand each other's needs and wants. When you stop sharing what's on your mind, misunderstandings can grow, and small issues can turn into bigger problems. It's easy to start feeling like you're living separate lives, even though you're together. In a healthy relationship, communication is the glue that holds everything together. When that glue weakens, the relationship can start to fall apart. If you and your partner have stopped having those important talks, it could be a sign that the connection is fading and that it's time to reevaluate where things are heading. 4. Absence of future plans. Remember when you and your partner used to talk about the future, whether it was vacations, moving in together, or starting a family? If those conversations have stopped or feel uncomfortable now, it might be a sign that the relationship is losing its direction. When you avoid making plans together, it often means that neither of you is fully committed to a shared future anymore. A relationship thrives when both people are working towards common goals and have a vision for what's ahead. If you don't see yourselves growing together or making long-term plans, it's like driving with no destination in mind. This absence of future planning can create a sense of uncertainty and leave you feeling disconnected. While it's normal for plans to change or evolve over time, completely avoiding any talk of the future can indicate that the relationship is nearing its end. A shared vision is crucial for keeping the bond strong and moving forward together. If that vision is no longer there, it might be time to ask yourself if this relationship still has a future. 5. Decreased physical intimacy. It's normal for physical intimacy to change over time in a relationship, but when it feels like it's almost disappeared, it can be a sign of trouble. Whether it's holding hands, hugging, or other forms of affection, physical connection plays a big role in keeping a relationship strong. When there's a noticeable drop in that connection, it can make both partners feel distant. Of course, everyone goes through phases where they might not be as affectionate. But if it feels like it's been a long time and nothing's changing, it could point to deeper issues. Maybe unresolved conflicts, emotional disconnection, or stress are getting in the way. Whatever the reason, a lack of physical intimacy can leave both people feeling unfulfilled. Physical affection is a way to show love and closeness, and without it, the relationship can start to feel empty. If you notice that this part of your relationship has been missing for a while, it might be time to think about what's causing the gap and whether it can be repaired. 6. Growing resentment. Sometimes, small issues can build up over time, and before you know it, resentment starts to creep in. Maybe it's something your partner said or did, or perhaps it's a pattern of behavior that's been bothering you for a while. If these feelings of hurt and anger keep piling up without being addressed, they can slowly poison the relationship. Holding on to grudges can make it hard to move forward. You might find yourself bringing up old arguments or feeling irritated by things that wouldn't normally bother you. This constant bitterness creates a negative cycle that's hard to break, and it can push both of you further apart. When resentment takes over, it's difficult to see the good in each other. If you're finding it tough to let go of past hurts and the feelings of anger are only growing, it's a sign that something needs to change. Addressing these issues head-on or reevaluating the relationship might be the only way to break free from that resentment. Otherwise, it can continue to erode the connection you once had. 7. Feeling alone together. It's a strange feeling when you're sitting next to your partner but still feel completely alone. That sense of loneliness, even when you're physically together, can be one of the strongest signs that the relationship is struggling. It often happens when the emotional support and connection between you start to fade. When you're in a relationship, you expect to feel understood and connected, but if that's missing, the isolation can feel even worse than being on your own. You might start avoiding conversations or spending less time together, which only makes things harder. If you've been feeling alone in the relationship for a while, it's worth taking a closer look at what's happening. That lack of connection makes it difficult to sustain a healthy, loving partnership. Recognizing this feeling is important because it could be a sign that the relationship is no longer fulfilling for either of you. Recognizing these signs can be tough, but it's important to face them with honesty and clarity. If any of these points resonated with you, it might be time to reflect on your relationship. Thanks for watching The Ancient Philosophy. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on relationships and life through the lens of Stoicism. Drop a comment below if you have any thoughts or questions, and give this video a like if it helped you. See you in the next one.